Alright, so this is going to be the tutorial to finish up your vector portraits using your word clouds. So we're going to use the portrait here, and then we're going to incorporate your word clouds. So I'm just going to, just make sure to hide everything, even your, the image, because we have to save this as a JPEG. So the only thing you want to have out is your portrait drawing. So to save your work, when I save as a JPEG, so go File, Export to save. And we're going to change the format to JPEG. So format JPEG, and then you want to save it in your folder. So go to 4B, export. Oh, hit cancel. You want to use the artboard, so use the file, export, and use that artboard JPEG in your folder, and click export. All right, and then you can keep these the same. Change the resolution to 150. Originally I told you guys to do 300, but the image is way too big at 300, so change it back to 150. Click OK. I'm just going to click replace because I actually saved the file already. So now my vector portrait saved. And then you want to do the same thing with your word cloud. Do file, export. Change it to JPEG, use artboard, export, and then leave it as 150, keep it the same, click OK, and then that'll be saved. Alright, so at this point now you don't need Illustrator anymore, you can just close it out. We'll click don't save. So, alright, now you are left with the vector portrait image and your word cloud. Alright. So very first thing you want to do is you want to click the vector portrait, and just like how you've been dragging your images to Illustrator, you're going to drag this one into Photoshop. So this one that says PS Photoshop. So you're going to drag it into Photoshop. That's going to bring up your image. And it looks like I cropped the image a little bit more, so you can use this crop tool here to cut the image up a little bit. So, I don't want to have like that this thing on the bottom. So that's okay right here. This is pretty good. So just gonna do a little cropping here, and then the next thing you're gonna do is actually before you do that, what we have to do now is we're gonna cut out the portrait from the picture. All right, so we have to move it off of this background layer. So you're gonna hold Command and press A as an apple to highlight the whole picture. So these dotted lines are highlighting the picture, and you can hit Command X as in Xerox to cut it out. I'm going to turn it into a green color, so Command Z to undo. Just make sure this color is completely white on your swatches, because that's the color it's changing to. So I'm going to do Command X as in Xerox to cut it out, and I'm going to do Command V as in V to paste to paste it. So this should be on the layer 1, and then you can retell this portrait. So you have your background, the portrait. And what we're going to do next is we're going to actually cut the portrait out of the picture. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this tool called the Quick Selection tool. If you click and hold your mouse, you can pull that up. Quick Selection tool. And then you want to click on the one that has the plus. You can resize your brushes up here. You want to get a decent sized brush. It doesn't have to be super big, but just like big enough. So that's big enough, and I'm just going to highlight the my portrait. So this should highlight real nicely just because of the fact that we did a vector portrait of it. And make sure you highlight everything in the picture. If for some reason you accidentally select too much, like up here, I selected this white here, you can hit this negative sign on the top, and that'll deselect that area, and you can just erase that. Okay. So you should only have the portrait selected. I'm going to do a little over there on the top. Alright, so this is pretty good here. So after you're done with that, then you're going to click on this button. This is Refine Edge. And basically what's going to happen now is it's going to cut the white out of the background of the picture. And you can keep these all the same. Just change your output to new layer. And then click OK. So now we have the portrait with just the background. So this layer on the bottom that you had here, you can actually click, drag, and delete it. it's kind of hard to get to my delete button, but if I move this up a little bit more, I can just click drag and just drag it to the trash bin down here. Alright, so yeah, you're going to delete it, and then at this point now, since we have your portrait and the background as separate layers, you can actually change the color of your background. So I might use a color that's, and real important, you want to use a color that's like within your vector portrait. You don't want to do something completely different, so maybe I might want to do like this light purple, just to see how it looks. And then you can use this paint bucket tool. It's below the eraser. If you don't got the paint bucket, then you can just click and drag, click on paint bucket, and it's right below your eraser. You're just going to click on your background, and then it should color out the picture for you. Now there are some areas where it might not have cut it out completely perfect, like right here on these edges. So I mean, that's okay. You can just go back to your portrait layer and just use this erase tool to just clean those little areas up. But otherwise it should have did it pretty well. This is if you're just going to be real nitpicky, but that's not really that big of a deal to me. So I'm just using the erase tool just to erase these areas. Let's just be real nitpicky though. But if you're like me though, you'll clean these areas up anyways. It's just human nature to clean mistakes. But yeah, I mean, when you zoom out though, it'll still look good, pretty good. Alright, so now I got my portrait, I got it in my background. And then the next step that we're going to do is we're going to click and drag your word cloud. Oh, actually, no, you don't want to drag it in there yet. So I got to double click, Command Z, undo. You want to actually drag this as a separate document. So drag this into Photoshop. And alright, we got the word cloud here. Now what we're going to do with the word cloud is we're going to only select the white and the text, and we're going to copy paste it over to the other document. So in order to do that, we're going to click on channels, and then we're going to click on this dial line on the bottom. Just because of the way the document was set up, or the way we did our word cloud, we did a black background with the white. So this is going to select all of the white areas of the picture. So you want to hit Command C as in cat to copy. You go to this other image, and you want to hit Command V to paste. So basically we're just going to paste over your words that we did. Alright, and then you can close this document, you don't need it no more. Alright, and then now we're going to incorporate the words in our picture. So if you hit Command T as in turtle, this is going to allow you to resize your image. So remember, you want to hold shift and resize it, and you can also rotate it as well. If you hold shift, you can rotate it to perfect 45-60 degree angles. So you can drag it around. Now to finish the transform, this is what the tool is called, the transform. You have to double click on the transform to finish it. That way you can move it around. Otherwise, if you're stuck on this menu, you can't really do anything else on the computer. So you gotta make sure to double click to finish it. And from here,